Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks so much for stopping in today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about environmental damage. And for those of you who don't know, we have we actually have subscription based content that you can get, and the one level we call environmental damage. So what I want to talk today about is just what is environmental damage, how does it happen, what are you going to do about it, why some coins need to be cleaned. So some of you have undoubtedly seen old collections and things that come in paper like this, and the paper itself is one element to what we're about to look at. The other element here is just going to be the humidity or the area you live in. So let's take a closer look at all these 3-cent nickels here, and you will start to see corrosion on them. And so these are not going to be our worst offenders, but you see those spots and things like that. And the difficulty with this stuff, here's something a little heavier. The difficulty with anything like this is that what you're going to have is that some of those spots, they're not only are they not going anywhere, they can actually start to grow or continue to grow over time. The worst offenders are going to be, see, like these green spots here, those are into the metal, and that's really hard to do anything with. Whereas if you have a coin like this, where it's just kind of that roughage around the edges, that stuff can actually come off through conservation. It's when you get to those thicker, darker spots, deeper spots, that you're going to run into problems. And so for the most part, as a coin collector, I am someone who is actually a curator of these coins. And as though it is going to be our own personal museum, we are a caretaker for the future. And so what happens is on coins like these, oftentimes they need some conservation, restoration, whatever you want to call it. So this hasn't even been opened. I'm already sure what we'll find in here, just because this entire collection that I got in had environmental damage. And on nickel coins, it's especially difficult, because once you get rocking and rolling on nickel, there ain't no coming back. Like, there is no salvation for this coin. It's always going to have that rough stuff going on, and it will be treated as such. And it's a shame, because you can see it was a pretty decent looking little coin, but once you start seeing, see the green on the rim is one thing that, it's probably not going to come off. But this darker surfaces on nickel, that's just eating into the coin, and that's not going to come off at all. Where the two coins were laying together, it probably saved the surface of the one coin is saved. But look at this. This is environmental damage. And when you watch coin grading videos, sometimes we'll open stuff up and it'll say environmental damage to it. This has also not been opened. So it'll say environmental damage, and it's kind of like borderline. But just so you know kind of where this look comes from, you'll see coins like this 1880 dollar trade in the marketplace, just is, someone might call it a junk dollar, whatever the term is. But I'm just showing you a combination of like what it looks like. This is fresh out of a package that's been sealed in for decades, and so you get a combination of understanding what things look like when they've been stored that way. So that cardboard paper, in a combination, especially with humidity, these coins came from a very humid area, some large scent action, and once again, especially on copper and nickel, it's very hard to come back from what's on these coins. It's very hard to, as the metal gets eaten into, it's very hard to conserve them or restore them in any way that's meaningful. See, especially get those green spots, that's just eating right into the coin. I know, I should have put a warning on this video. Look away, because what you're about to see may be disturbing to some viewers. once again, a coin that someone was trying to preserve, and yet all that stuff on the surface is just damaging it. All right, let's look at, I got some, I have some Lincoln cents here also, unopened, 38D. They were circulated coins. I was hoping for something uncirculated, but let's see how they held up. Once again, you can start to see all those spots on there. And, you know, more so on some than others, the corrosion on there. That's the Ford Theater Special on that guy. And it gets worse, folks. It gets worse. Some of these old holders, like this is a style of holder that I haven't seen in a bazillion years. And you can see that little screw, it looks like it's like aluminum or plastic, and it's shot all to pieces. And then underneath here, you know, someone had put these away, hopefully to have something preserved over time, and in the meantime, the opposite happened, right? And so these slides, so these are supposed to have slide windows. They're not even sliding. So we're gonna do some manual labor here, maybe not. Maybe. And or see if we can get this to move out of the way finally. There we go. Let's see how the coins held up under here. But look at, by the way, I gotta tell you, I just released some type of odor in here when I opened that up, and it's not something I'm used to smelling, whatever it is. What? I think it's rotting plastic. Also, really unpleasant. May have to take a time out on this video just to go get away from the odor. Oh my gosh. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these guys here. See how they held up. I mean, so the good news is that these don't look as bad as that other group does. It looks like most of the plastic was absorbing the hits, but you can see a lot that definitely on some of them they have some of the environmental damage on there. That's the type of stuff that you really want to get off of your coins. And I think I've got one more example of a older set. It was the same type of thing here. Okay, so this one I'm thinking is much worse than the other one. I'm not going to open it. I feel like the level of odor could trigger a really bad reaction. But you can see that it's this one, this set's even worse than the previous set was. Oh, yeah, that's, my friends, brutal. Brutal, brutal. What a sad thing to see. Just not the type of thing any coin collector wants to see happen. So, anyway, the lesson here, of course, is a couple things. I wanted to show you what coins look like as they come out of these old manila envelopes, but also what environmental damage is and why people clean coins, basically. But if you know what you're doing, they use the term restore. Sometimes you can get a little bit of that stuff off. I'm going to go take an allergy pill, maybe have some type of a vaccine. And thanks for commenting down below. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button and watch more videos on the right side of the screen.